CM Punk could be making his in-ring return to WWE very soon, and we have learned new insight about who he could be facing and the plans for Punk going into SummerSlam in a new report. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about a big AEW name who is reportedly going to hit the free agent market later this summer, and another free agent name who is garnering interest from both AEW and WWE. All that and much more coming up in this video. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Let's talk about CM Punk first. So CM Punk was asked about his status at yesterday's Money in the Bank post-show, and he essentially said that he feels like he is ready to go, and he feels like he is as close to 100% as one can be. And this is very similar to comments he has made even going back to Mania. He feels like, if it was up to me, I probably would go. But the doctors in WWE have taken precautionary measures and have essentially said that until you're ready to go, until we clear you, until you're closer to 100%, we are not going to let you go out there and get physical to the point of having a match. And remember, Punk has been out of action ever since January, ever since Royal Rumble. He took that Future Shock DDT. It tore his tricep, and it has been, tough sledding for CM Punk ever since he returned to WWE. And obviously, we wish him the best, but after Money in the Bank, one of the questions everyone has is like, all right, when could we see him back? And is the match him and Drew? Well, in case anyone needed any more confirmation about that, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter has said the following on his radio show, quote, "Right now, it is not 100% as far as Punk and Drew at SummerSlam, but I was told it is probable." He went on to say, Punk was kind of asked about it, and he kind of beat around the bush, and he said, it's probably happening, but he kind of did say it's up to other people. He has to get cleared and everything by the doctor. So pretty much good insight there from Dave Meltzer, who, obviously is at least sourced in these affairs. He says that the plan is Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. That's the probable plan. That's what I think WWE want to go with. It's the next pay-per-view. I would assume that they want to blow this off on one of their biggest stages, and SummerSlam is their second biggest show outside of WrestleMania, so it would make sense if this is when you want to do it. That being said, it is dependent on Punk getting cleared, and there is, obviously a lot of narratives out there about Punk that he's injury prone or that, he is not able to keep up, the whole Jon Moxley line, fragile mind, fragile body, fragile ego, all that kind of stuff. The reality really is with Punk that he is older. He is 44, 45 years old at this point, and his body has gone through a lot of wear and tear, especially over the last 2 years. A shattered foot, followed by a torn tricep, followed by another torn tricep in just the past 2 years. Excuse me. That is a lot for your body to go through, especially when you work in a profession that essentially is like throwing yourself at the ground. And on top of that, you are doing intense cardio, you are doing intense physical activity just to stay in shape. So, that is going to take some wear and tear on your body. And I think the hope is make sure Punk is 100% when he's ready to go, because when he is ready to go, that is what you want. You want him to be as great as possible for two reasons. Number one, you want to make sure that the match delivers. Remember, CM Punk has not had a singles match on TV or PLE ever since he returned to WWE. His last televised singles match was back in August in AEW. He had one match against Dominic Mysterio at MSG that, by what we were told, was, a live event match, which is great. And that is a match, but it was not televised. It obviously did not, take the rigor of a pay-per-view, big-time level match. So he's been on the shelf for a while when it comes to just in-ring competition. And one thing we also know is that endurance, that in-ring awareness, all that kind of stuff, it does take a while to also get back. So it's not just, hey, make sure the tricep is good. It's make sure that the ring awareness is good. Make sure that the endurance is good. Make sure that everything else that goes into a great performance in a wrestling match is also there. So I think sometimes we like to think it's just an injury or whatever, but there are more elements to this. And from what we've seen on Punk's Twitter and Instagram, he is training his butt off to get back. And the match is Drew McIntyre and Punk. Like, let's be honest, there is no bigger match, no two other performers, I think, that have a hotter feud in WWE than these two. Like, this feud is so great and has so much momentum that it is what likely led to Drew McIntyre, staying with WWE and like really rejuvenated his character and his career in the company. So we can't wait for that. I can't wait for that personally. But it looks like that's what they want to do at SummerSlam. As far as if they will get to that point, we will see. Another thing we're going to see over the next few months are a lot of free agents hitting the open market. Let's talk about one of them real quick. Before I get to that, though, be sure to let me know what you guys think about this Punk stuff in the comment section. But let's talk about a free agent that is getting a lot of buzz right now. We did that wrong. We're doing it live, though. It's okay. But there is a free agent who's getting a lot of buzz at this moment, and her name is Stephanie Vaquer. You may remember her from AEW Forbidden Door last Sunday. She competed against Mercedes Moné. A lot of people were impressed by her showing. A lot of fans were really impressed by what she could do and believe that her and Moné had one of the best matches on a stacked show. And it is already garnering a lot of interest. The report from this aggregation from Russell Purist says that, according to Record Mexico, Stephanie Vaquer has offers from both WWE and AEW. And for those of you who are, maybe scoffing at this or don't understand, like, well, why would WWE be interested? Well, two reasons. Number one, she is a fantastic wrestler. Like, again, if you have not seen her match with Mercedes, like, it was very clear from the get-go that not only was she ready in the ring, like, from a technical standpoint, but she had a level of TV awareness that many talent, like especially international talent coming to either AEW or WWE, don't necessarily have right off the bat. And like you could tell that TV presence was there. And like I really think that if she's able to, get into WWE or AEW, she is a major player moving forward. I really believe that. And the future is very bright. She's 31 years old. And I think either company would be very lucky to have her. And she could honestly be one of the cornerstones of either women's division moving forward. So it's great to see her getting her flowers. It's great to see, her name being mentioned in these talks about, wrestling free agents. Obviously, there's a bunch of them out there right now. Jinder Mahal is like having one of his first matches coming up soon. Former WWE champion Jinder Mahal. But it's just fantastic to see Stephanie Vaquer, someone who, one of the big criticisms of Forbidden Door is like, how do you introduce people? You're not introducing people AEW. They introduced her, I think, in a very effective way this time around, and the results showed for themselves. And it's just fantastic. Again, if you have not seen her match with Mercedes, please go do yourself a favor, and after this video, go tune that up. As we move on to our next and final topic, some free agent news. Well, this isn't necessarily news, but it's a bit of an update in case you were not aware. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson's contract is reportedly coming up in September. These are some names that in AEW whose contracts, are reportedly coming up. We have Shane Taylor, whose contract is reportedly, according to Fightful.com. Go to their resource section. They have a lot of great stuff over there at Fightful.com. Shane Taylor's contract is coming up, but the two big ones, Bryan Danielson in September and Dustin Rhodes in September. Now, of course, Dustin, the big question is, will he go will he sign? Will he not re-sign with AEW? Excuse me. And then will he go to WWE to be with his brother, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes? Well, we'll see what happens there. But Bryan Danielson's contract being up in September has been a bit of a conversation point for a while now. And as we get closer to All In, All Out, I think the plan for Bryan Danielson is going to become a lot more clear. And really, this Wednesday is going to dictate a lot of what that is. Because either Bryan wins, and, the big main event match for All In is Bryan versus Swerve. And in that point, we could see Bryan getting the World Championship for the first time in AEW. And then maybe they extend it a bit and have him actually retire in Tacoma, Washington, just outside of his hometown of Aberdeen. And if that is the case, I honestly believe that whatever happens, they'll sign a month-long extension, whatever. I think his last full-time match will happen at Wrestle Dream in Tacoma. I think it makes too much sense. And if the build-up to that is a World Championship match, then I think that's even bigger. And if he goes into that pay-per-view being the world champion and they do that big hometown match, Swerve versus Bryan, the atmosphere, the electricity in the arena, I think, is going to be unmatched. But the question really is, after this, what is next for Bryan? And I believe that a lot of times people like to think of things in binary fashion, right? Either you're going to go to WWE or you're going to go to AEW. I don't think Bryan, and from what we've heard, what we've seen, and just the way Bryan is, I don't believe that he's going to be the type of guy to be like, well, I'm going to do either or. I think after he, retires from full-time action, he's probably going to be one of those free agent kind of guys who I'll pop in for a big match or whatever if I really want to do it, or I'll pop into a random AAA show with no notice and just be there and have fun wrestling people. I don't think he's going to sign another major full-time deal. He has said no. That is the story they've gone with. That is what he legitimately believes. So I don't know if I see him, signing an exclusive contract. That's the word I was looking for. I don't think I see him signing an exclusive contract with either company, but I could see him signing a contract that allows him to basically do international stuff or shows wherever he wants. If either company would be open to that, which we know AEW is, WWE a little bit more open to it than the past, so anything's possible there, but we'll see what happens. Regardless, I do think that Bryan's, contract situation is going to be something to keep an eye on after October, after September, after, his contract officially expires. But let me know in the comment section, though. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson? Will he re-sign with AEW? Will he go to WWE? Will he just, wrestle random indies and have fun under a mask? I'm probably going to go with that last one. But let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to smash that like button if you haven't already done so. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.